sweet Lord. Thursday, June 11th, 1323, 1, 123. For you civilians out there, really don't mind if I sit this one out. My words but a whisper, in deafness I'll shout. I may make you feel, but I can't make you think. Your sperm's in the gutter, your love's in the sink. Where was I? Where you at? The battery's died. The battery. It's about 95 degrees out here. Luckily, this shelter's got a roof. Boiling hot out there. Me and Dave Weimer and Vicki Reinfield were heading to Madeline Eagle's house. We saw that big UFO. Big, big. I forget where I left off, gentlemen. I'll start from there. Then we watched it, I forget where I was. Uh, we pulled over and watched it, then made our way to Madeline Teagle's house. And her phone was ringing off the hook because Madeline was the number one UFO investigator also for Ohio, for that part of the country. could, she took reports from people because she had a UFO sighting herself in the early 50s with her husband. So, so she became very interested in the subject back then. I'm alone, and the roof birds are taking a break. Yeah, no noise. Anyhow, the next morning, she was going to have a team from Kent State. They're of graduate students. There was about three or four of them who were working on their thesis, making documentary films. And they were going to interview Madeline and anybody else, you know. And she heard about that case with me as an eyewitness. I decided to spend the night at her house and lay down. I never fell asleep on her couch, and no shower or nothing. Felt like shit. The next morning, the graduate students showed up, all kinds of professional equipment for 1977, May 20th, let's say. Of 1977, they had good gear. They checked for lighting and all that stuff. Distance from me to the camera, etc. And interviewed me in Madeline's living room. And that video was made into a documentary which aired on PBS stations. I never got a chance to see it. A lot of people did and told me, I saw you on TV. I was like, whoa. Wish I did. Wish I had a copy. But, hey Dave, remember that? Of course he remembers. Dave is now a very successful lawyer in the Akron area. Very, very good person. Very good man. He's 5 or 6 years older than me. I was born in '56. He was born in '51. So I think it was April '51. So it's kind of confusing because I was born in, my birthday is June 19th. So it's kind of hard for me to figure out the ages when they're, you know. And I would consider Dave Weimer the best Earthman I ever met. I ever had the honor of knowing. He's a man of complete, full integrity. There's not too many of them. He's an example of that. And now he's a lawyer. He got his law degree in, I believe it's '85, when I was in boot camp. Doing time in boot camp. It might have been a year later, but you know, he was working towards that goal for quite a few years. And he finally made it. And he represented the Hardy Road landfill, which is a case, a class action lawsuit, if I remember, of millions of dollars, because they built these new homes on top of a landfill, and that landfill, the landfill filled with pockets of methane, and then exploded. Exploded. I don't recall too many details, but he won the case. Hey Dave, was that your first case or I can't remember. I guess I never talked to him about that. Might have to jog my memory. But yeah, Dave Weimer, I consider the best friend I ever had. He's the kind of man that a man has as a friend for life. I consider him my best friend for life. You know, not too many people can I claim that about. That's how high in regard. I lived at his house on Charlotte Street in Akron, right off of Market Street, in Highland Square. He gave me shelter and conversation and company, and we would sit around and drink beer. And I didn't smoke, and he smoked once in a while, only when he drank, and had good food, good times, and talked for hours. Kept us off the streets. He turned me on to health food, etc. Good eating. Matter of fact, I turned 21 there. You know. Right down the street was a store called Nature's Way, which was, if not the first one of the first natural food co-ops in Ohio. And he joined, and then I joined for $10. It became a lifetime membership. We were one of the first people to ever join. Never forget it. Every time I go back there for years afterwards, I got 10% off anything I wanted. Anything I bought. Brown rice, millet, soy grits, herbs out the butt. About 100 different herbs. That was back in the days when Celestial Seasons was Celestial Seasons before they sold out for millions of dollars to whoever bought them. Nestle or probably or something. I can't remember that. You know, Tom's toothpaste, all that stuff. Dave introduced me to Swami Muktananda. And he wrote a book called The Play of Consciousness. And I brought that book down to Arizona with me and studied it. And Muktananda talked about the blue pearl. He talked about the blue one, the black one, the white one and the red one. Explained what they were, what he perceived them to be. I was already seeing them for about 2.5 years. I started when I was 17 years old. I always thought they were confirmation dots, is what I called them, because I'd be thinking about something really intense. I'd, this white light would appear right before the center of my vision. And I thought, what the hell is that? It would come on for a couple of seconds, then go off. And I thought, it's telling me to pay attention to what just happened. And so, or what I was just thinking about. So that's why I call them confirmation dots, lights. And I would see the blue one especially, which is much smaller, and the shimmer. But Swami Muktananda changed my life in that regard. He explained that and wrapped everything up in his autobiography. He was probably the most advanced human being on the planet at the time. He could actually take a peacock feather and hold it in his hand and touch people. Just give them Shakti pot. Transmit power, energy to them. He could bring them up to his capacity for a little bit higher than they were for a while. That's what Mike did with me. Same thing. When he touched me on the top of my head, my crown chakra, and opened me up. He brought me closer to 66% brain capacity than I was at for a while. It lasted for about 2 weeks. Then once in a while when I was driving to Arizona or back to Arizona and while I was living there, I would think about him and he would reach out and kind of like do it again, touch me mentally, you know. Interesting time. That's why 1977 was a very important year for me. Mike gave me a mission. It's about 95 degrees out here. Time for the shorts. He gave me a mission, a challenge to help prepare the way when the time comes for Jesus the man to return. He told me that, Lee, you got to act like an ambassador everywhere you go, with everybody you meet. You got to spread goodwill and represent your country. I plan on taking that one step higher if I can, and represent the earth. The entire time I was in the Navy, especially when I was in Japan, Well, let me back up. When I was in boot camp, about the second week, we had a class, and some guy, and I was a leader. I was the educational petty officer, so I was in charge of all 79 guys. 79 plus me equals 80. I had to teach them every night for 2 hours, right in front of them. It was a real challenge. But anyhow, this guy at this class said, one thing he made a comment. He said, you recruits, you seamen recruits, think of yourselves as ambassadors. You're and show by example your best behavior anywhere you go, especially overseas, because you'll always be judged. You're representing the United States, so do a good job and represent properly. You know, don't get into fights. Don't get excessively drunk, which I didn't do. I was stopped. I was a squid, you know. There's better to be drunk. Yeah. But, oh well. That was a real challenge. I couldn't let more than people fail a test for 8 weeks, and I made it. You can fail one test, but if you fail two tests, you're sent back a month or two, and you would take remedials, and then rejoin somebody else's company about a month or two later and try it again. So that was my test. I was the oldest one. I was 29 when I went to boot camp. Had the highest ASVAB score of anybody. So they had already picked me to be the guy, and I didn't even know it. They asked for volunteers, and I said, "Huh? What's EPO mean? The Educational Petty Officer." Huh. Getting warm out there. Anyhow, enough of that rambling. I'll continue this some other time. It's too hot. I'm getting hungry. got it twisted in these shorts. And cool off in my air conditioner for a while at home. Lee Bell, your roving reporter. Over. Close sesame. Seed. And please. Thank you, please. Thank you very much.